day 49 of learning Valorant. We started off in the shooting range where I'm practicing, headshot confirmation and tracking strafing enemies with a little bit of strafing myself to make it more realistic. This is pretty good practice because you can see here, I rush my shots even on the bot. Ideally, you would only miss the bot when it starts strafing after you decide to shoot. Like, if the bot's standing still, you should never miss it. After that, I went into my deathmatches where I'm doing a practice where my first deathmatch, I can't shoot at all. Okay, all I can do is track enemies and try to stay alive for as long as possible. My second deathmatch, I'm allowed to shoot back, but I'm not allowed to shoot first. So I have to wait for the enemy to shoot at me and then try to find the headshot. This basically helps you, not rush your shots and feel comfortable in your movement and your ability to dodge bullets. After that, our third game, I'm allowed to just play normally and try to, slice the angle, slice the pie, do whatever's necessary to win the fights. We ended up winning a deathmatch after doing this, so maybe it's a pretty good way to drill if you're having the same problems I'm having of rushing shots and things like that. After that, we hopped into our ranked game where I tried to work on pre-aiming angles, slicing the pie. And overall, I think, I see a couple times in this game where I am doing it, but a lot of the times when I die is when I forget to do it or when I don't know how to do it. Like there, boom, that was a pretty okay pre-aim, but here you could tell I was just I was planning out how I wanted to retake the site. So my crosshair was just in no man's land when I should have been holding it a little bit higher in a more proactive angle. Very unfortunate. And the worst part is I didn't get punished for it. But when I do get punished for it, I'm even more annoyed. But I would rather get punished for it than get kills off bad crosshair placement, because then that reinforces in my brain via dopamine a bad process. Now this game was a little unfortunate because I ended up playing pretty good, which is good. So it wasn't unfortunate at all. We had a nice little 4K here. Now I need to, help my mind and be like, this first game was a good game. Even though we lost, I should be relatively happy with how I played, other than my gunfight hygiene, Because right now I'm so focused on trying to correct the way I move around the map that my gunfight hygiene is falling down into the gutter, which is kind of unacceptable, but it's also just a natural process where I still have fights with good hygiene where I don't rush my shots or anything, but I have fights that have bad fight hygiene, so it's kind of a mixed bag. Overall, I am seeing myself pre-aim more angles and not just kind of hold my crosshair in random places, and I think that's an unseen benefit, I might have talked about this before, with pre-aiming angles, is it's also improving my crosshair placement, so I'm kind of getting a 2-for-1 deal right now, and then once I go back to hygiene, it's going to just be overall a great experience. Now, at what point am I going to do that? I think definitely once I start seeing way less mistakes in my gameplay. I'm still not properly pre-aiming angles here. I'm just a little bit too slow, so I don't get that kill, but the idea was there, and that's important. I also had an issue this game on long where I would not commit to the steps enough, so I'd take 3 half steps in a row, which means I never get to the full player velocity, which is very unacceptable because it makes me a very easy target to shoot, where you need to make sure you take your full step to get to maximum velocity so the enemy can't shoot you. Here is just skill issue on Reyna where because I don't use my blinds that often, I don't know how far they go out, and I just need to get a mental idea for how that works. I wonder if I got that kill if I don't movement error those second shots. Here, after I get the first kill, I should dismiss and go back to sight, but I try to hold this angle, but I'm holding it way too low and way too narrow, so I just get destroyed when I get double swung. Which is very sad to see. Overall, this second game, I did not win as many fights, but I think I see myself pre-aiming a little more, which is but if you're pre-aiming corners more correctly, why are you losing fights? Well, probably because of the cognitive bandwidth it takes for me to think about, which angles I should be pre-aiming. There, it worked out perfectly, but half the time, or probably more than half the time, there's not going to be an enemy there. So when you go through the effort to pre-aim, it feels like you're wasting time. Now you should say, use the information, your map awareness on where enemies could be, and then predict if they're going to be there or not. Here, I'm really happy with this fight. I have the bomb down there, so I move to this position so I can't get killed by long. Then I hear someone long, so I move in an angle where I can't get killed by that hallway. So while my gunfight hygiene was way worse than it should have been, I managed to win the fight because my situational awareness is improved, which this is something I used to notice that I didn't have at all in my VODs. So I'm very happy to see that. And once I, go back to working on gunfight hygiene, I think I'm going to be able to play a lot better. Now we hop into the aim trainer. A lot of people say, "Oh, stop aim training and play an extra game." But I think the aim training is just kind of chill and fun and enjoyable. It's like 30 minutes at the end of the day before I go to sleep. And it's a nice, relaxing process, while ranked is stressful. And if I had extra time, I'd probably throw more death matches in between each ranked game, because I feel like I play better in my first ranked game, like fresh off the death matches, than I do going from one ranked game to another ranked game. So that's probably what I would do. But anyway, very fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.